Good morning, guys. This is Mr. Sheets from Shoals. I'm going to finish reading Junie B. First Grader Cheater Pants. Yesterday I read the first 5 chapters. There's 4 chapters left, so I'll read 2 today and finish it up on Monday. Hope you guys had a good day yesterday. So, with permission from Scholastic, I'm going to start in Chapter 6 of Junie B. First Grader Cheater Pants. Chapter 6, Tin Can. The next morning I sat next to Herb on the bus. I sat next to him every single day, on account of that's what bestest friends automatically do. Herb started talking about his new dog, Dilly. Only I couldn't even pay attention that good, because how can you talk about Dilly when you've got a note from your teacher in your pocket? Mother and Daddy had to sign that dumb thing, and now I had to take it back to Mr. Scary. I slumped way down in my seat. School was not being fun these days. I looked at Herb. I wished I could tell him about my problem, only what if he didn't like cheaters, and he found out I was one? And then he didn't like me either. I thought and thought real hard. Then finally I took a deep breath, and I decided to risk it. I leaned real close to his ear, and I whispered to him, very secret. "Okay, here's the situation, Herb," I said. "I'm in a little bit of trouble at school, only I'm really not bad, I promise. It's just that yesterday I accidentally did something wrong, but I don't actually want to tell you what it was, or else you might not like me anymore." Herb looked at me and shrugged. "You copied May's homework when she went to the office," he said. I did a gasp at that, boy, because how did he know that private information? I scratched my head. But, how did you even? Herb interrupted me. "I saw you," he said. "Lenny and Jose saw you too. You're a terrible sneak, Junie B. Really terrible, I mean." I did a little frown. That was not a compliment, possibly. Herb patted my arm. "Don't worry, we still like you," he said. "Just don't copy May's homework anymore, and then you won't get into any more trouble." I nodded my head. Then I patted him back. That Herb is good for me, I think. Me and Herbert walked to room 1 together. Then we stopped right in our footsteps, because wowie, wow, wow. That whole room looked different, I tell you. Instead of being in rows of all the desks were arranged in groups of circles. We looked in the back to where we sit. There were 5 desks in our group. May was already in her seat. She was cleaning her desktop with a moist towelette. Just then, Lenny and Jose walked in behind us. "Whoa," said Lenny. "What's going on here?" said Jose. Mr. Scary told us to please find our desk, and he will explain this in a minute. All of us went back and sat down. Sitting in a circle feels friendly. We waved and smiled at each other, only not May. She looked smuggy at us. "I already know why we're sitting like this," she said. "I was the first one here this morning, and when you're first, you get to know stuff." Jose stared at her moist towelette. He made the cuckoo sign. Just then, Mr. Scary went to the board, and he wrote a weird word. "Boys and girls, this morning we're going to be doing a poetry assignment," he said. "That's why I arranged your desk like this. I want you to be able to talk over your thoughts and share ideas." He pointed at the weird word. It was spelled Cinquain. "Does anyone want to try and pronounce this?" he asked. Does anyone want to sound it out? May jumped right up. "Tin can," she shouted. "It's pronounced tin can." She grinned real delighted. "I know it's tin can because you told me that this morning, remember? I was the first one here, and I saw you write it on the board. And you told me it was pronounced tin can." Mr. Scary looked puzzled at her. "Gee, I'm sorry, May, but it's not tin can." He said, "You must not have heard me correctly. This word is pronounced like the words sin and cane. Sin cane." May crossed her arms. "No," she said, "I'm sure that's not what you told me. You said it was tin can, Mr. Scary. You know you did." Mr. Scary frowned. "No, May, I didn't," he said. "Now please take your seat." May sat down in a huff. She put her head on her desk and hid under her sweater. Mr. Scary looked back at the board. "A cinquain is a poem that has 5 lines," he said, "and each line has its own special rule." He wrote the 5 rules. First line, 1 word, title. Second line, 2 words that describe the title. Third line, 3 action words about the title. Fourth line, 4 words that express a thought or feeling about the title. Fifth line, 1 word that means the same thing as the title. After that, he wrote a cinquain for us to see. It was a poem called Pickle. Pickle, bumpy, lumpy, crunching, munching, lunching, cucumbers making you pucker, gherkin. I laughed at that crazy thing because who ever heard of a pickle poem? Writing a cinquain is fun, I said. This assignment will be a breeze, I think, Mr. Scary smiled. Well, sometimes poems come very easily, and other times they don't. But if you share words and ideas with each other, you can really help spark your imaginations, he said. He looked all around. In fact, I thought it might be fun for some of you to write your poem as a team, he said. May quick came out from under her sweater at that news. She looked at our group. Okay, fine. I'll be the team leader, she told us. After that, she made a mean face at Mr. Scary, and she took out her pencil. I know just what we're going to write about, too, she said kind of growly. She waved her hands at us. You four guys talk about your normal stupid stuff, and I'll write the poem, she said. I'll read it to you when I get done. Lenny looked disappointed, but Mr. Scary said we should write our poem together, May, he said. See, said Jose, we're supposed to share our thoughts and ideas, remember? May threw her hands in the air. I knew it, she said. I knew working as a team wouldn't work. Fine. You guys just write your own dumb poem, and I'll write mine. After that, she took her pencil and paper, and she hid under her sweater again. All of us looked at each other and shrugged. Then we started right to work. I tapped on my chin. It says the first line needs to be the title, I said. So maybe the title should come first. May peeked her eyes out at me. Duh, she said. Jose covered her up again. Just then Herb raised his hand. Hey, I know, he said. Since Mr. Scary wrote a pickle poem, why don't we write one about an olive? He leaned back in his chair and did a happy thumbs up. No one did a thumbs up back, 'cause what kind of a dumb idea was that? An olive, I said. I hate olives, said Jose. I threw up an olive once, said Lenny. Herb looked irritated at us. I patted him. Don't be mad, I said. It's just that maybe there's something funnier to write about than an olive, that's all. See, said Jose, like maybe we could write about soccer. Playing soccer is fun, right? Yes, I said. Plus riding the bus to school is fun too, right, Herb? Me and you always have fun on the bus, don't we? Lenny shook his head. But I don't ride the bus, Junie B, he said. I think we should all write about something that all of us know about. He thought for a second, then he clapped his hands together. I know, we could write about how all of us shampoo our hair to keep it healthy and shiny. All of us do that, right? After that, me and Jose and Herb just looked and looked at him, because sometimes Lenny is off the deep end, that's why. Finally, Jose put his head on his desk. Maybe we're making this too hard, he said. Why can't we just write about something easy, like how about all of us are friends or something? Herb smiled a little bit. Yeah, that's a good idea. We could write about the four of us, and we could call it Friends. Jose smiled too. See, he said, or Amigos maybe. Just then I bounced up and down real excited, 'cause the perfect title just hit me. That's why. It hit me right out of the clear blue sky. Pallies, I said. Let's call it Pallies, 'cause that's what we are, right? All four of us are bestest Pallies. And Pallies sounds like a cute title, don't you think? I looked at them real hopeful. Then all of my Pallies started to smile. Our poem was off to a great start. Chapter 7. Pallies. We worked on our poems for the whole entire morning almost, and Mr. Scary was right. Sharing ideas did help spark our imaginations. Plus all of us got to add our own special words to our poem, and that's called good teamwork. After we got done, I printed our poem on a clean piece of paper. Lenny and Jose and Herb watched me real careful. I am an excellent printer, I told them. I can print with the best of them. Pretty soon, all the other children in room 1 finished their poems too. And good news, Mr. Scary said there was time to read some of our poems to the class. Lucille didn't wait to get called on. She ran right to the front of the room, and she made squinty eyes at Camille and Chenille. I wanted to write my poem with 2 girls in my group, she said, but all they wanted to write about was twins, twins, twins. She looked at them some more. The whole world is not just about you 2, you know, she grouched. After that, she fluffed her lacy dress, and she read her poem. Me, Richie Lucille. Shopping, buying, spending. Everyone's jealous of myself. Princess. After she was finished, Mr. Scary sat there for a second. Then he smiled and nodded. Good, Lucille. Yes, excellent, he said. That poem really says it all, doesn't it? Lucille nodded. Yes, she said, it does. Then she did another mean look at the twins, and she sat back down. After that, May didn't wait to be called on either. She ran to the front of the room, just like Lucille, and she hollered out her poem real loud. Tin can. Tin, tin, can. I have perfect hearing, and Mr. Scary told me it was tin can. He did, he really did. Mr. Scary rubbed his chin. Yes, well, that certainly was an interesting poem idea, May. But it didn't really follow the rules of Sin Cane, did it? He said. You mean tin can, said May. Mr. Scary did a sigh. Then he got up from his desk and he walked May back to her seat. After that, there was time for one more poem. My group waved our hands all around in the air. We have a good one, hollered Jose. Yes, a really good one, yelled Lenny. Mr. Scary nodded at us. So all of us jumped up and we stood in our group and we read our poem with all of our voices. Pallies, chummy, happy, joking, gelling, sharing, four amigos all together, friendship. So that's the end of chapter 7. So Monday I'll finish chapters 8 and 9 of Junie B. Jones, first grader cheater pants. Hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll miss you guys, and I'll talk to y'all Monday.